Bucknutters, welcome to the Bucknuts Morning 5 here on Friday, April 10th, 2015. I am Dave Biddle, and I'm joined by Duane Long. Duane, our great national nightmare is over. Braxton Miller has been cleared of the Advocare situation. The Ohio State says it was a minor NCAA violation, and the matter is now over. I didn't think anything was going to come of this, but you never know. I thought originally Tatgate was minor, and that snowballed into something huge. But it's good to know that this matter is now closed, and Braxton won't be facing any suspension. The program won't be facing any violations. Good news here for the Buckeyes.
Well, yeah, and good news for the kid. Look at the setbacks this kid's taken. How much more can he take? Just things that just seem to be, okay, we're trying to keep you off the football field. You know, he injures himself, gets surgery. Before he ever steps on the field, he injures himself worse. And now he was looking at this. So, you know, I was really glad when you did your research. I know all Buckeye fans were happy about that they didn't really have to worry once D-Bids come on and took care of this. So, you know, we stopped worrying about it, but now it's great that it's official. It's over. He can just concentrate on football and trying to get back on the football field. This is good for everybody. This is a really beloved guy. He was the quarterback. He was the guy that we depended on. I mean, how many games do we win without Braxton Miller in the transition from Jim Tressel to Urban Meyer? It could have got really ugly. But Braxton Miller was there. He just kept fighting and kept playing hard. And you know, we just love Braxton Miller. You know, I don't know where he's going to end up. I don't think he's going to be a quarterback for us. If he is, it's going to be in a spot role. I think he's going to play. I think it's good for him, Dave, that he is going to play somewhere else. Wing back, running back, something. Well, where he gets to show his legs, where, you know, he threw well enough, but his legs are why Braxton Miller was such a guy who ended up almost being invited to the Downtown Athletic Club for the Heisman ceremony. He is just so great running the ball. And put him there, and he might have a pro career if he's got a year of college playing somewhere other than quarterback, showing the NFL film of him being a running back, wing back, let him see that he can catch the football. So, you know, just having this behind him, I know he's saying he's got the biggest smile in the world on his face. I know Buckeye fans do.
We had a chance to interview Joey Bosa after practice yesterday. He's always filled with interesting takes, and yesterday was no exception. We'll have video of Bosa's interview posted on the site later today. But the biggest takeaway from chatting with Bosa was he referred to Tyquan Lewis as a freak. I mean, really talked him up, and he said he's excited to have someone like that on the other side of him. And they're going to rotate other guys in there. You know, he was quick to say that Jalen Holmes is doing well, Sam Hubbard's doing well, Darius Slade's doing well. But Tyquan Lewis is the guy. He's going to be the starter. We've known he's been repping with the first team. Larry Johnson also talked him up after practice yesterday. But there is no doubt he's going to be the starter. I love hearing Joey Bosa refer to the 6'4", 260-pound Lewis as a freak. This guy was a big-time recruit, obviously redshirted as a freshman, even though he came in early. For those that don't remember, he was an early enrollee 2 years ago. It's still redshirted. Played a lot last year as a backup. He was in there a lot in the national championship game, and now he's going to get his chance. I mean, Duane, this defensive line was already pretty scary with Bosa and Washington. And we'll figure out what's going to happen with tackle. Looks like Tommy Shutt's the leader in the clubhouse there. But if they can get Tyquan Lewis to be a threat on that other side, look out.
Well, you look back last season, Steve Miller was just such a solid guy. He set the edge. He didn't let anybody get outside of him. He always did the right thing. But on that edge, that's what I call the weak side end, is an edge player. The first thing you're looking for out of that guy is pass rush, and we didn't really get it out of him. He got a few sacks. He gave it everything he had, but he was not a real a guy that the offensive coordinators were saying, we got to make sure that our left tackle is up to speed because this guy will kill us if he doesn't. We didn't have that with Steve Miller. We were missing it so much, with Noah Spence. Having that guy. And I go back, who was excited about Tyquan Lewis coming out of high school? First time I saw his film, I said, this is a great get. And early on, he was not ranked that high. And our guys went in there and said, this guy can play. Buckeye Nation was excited about this guy. We're not surprised. Other people are going to be going, who? We weren't. We knew this guy could play football. He just needed his opportunity. He needed to add some weight. He needed some seasoning. But in the end, he ended up being that kind of player. Like you said, by the end of the year, when you're putting a guy who hasn't played a great deal in the national championship game, yeah, because he's ready. He's had that off season. That January period, Dave, it's so important. Getting in a bowl game, the practices mean as much as the bowl game does. It really does. The game is the culmination. But those practices, so many guys get to season themselves, become better football players during that period of time from in January. How many practices do they get where they can actually become better football players when that is the focus, not getting ready for a game? Week in and week out, it's real hard for players to really make an impact because they're not getting as many reps. But that time, it's like spring practice. So we're not really that surprised. Buckeye Nation isn't. This kid can play. Now he's big enough. Now he's seasoned. Now he's the guy that's going to step in and be the pass rusher. And like you said, we were looking for a guy out there. We still need to find a tackle, but adding that guy who can scare the quarterback, who's always looking for where is this guy, that's what we needed. It would have made a great defensive line even better if we had that guy last year. Now we have him this year, it looks like.
Let's talk some recruiting, Duane. Kareem Walker, the number one running back in the country, Ohio State committed during the national championship game. Says he's not going to go to Ohio State's spring game. He was adamant that he was going to be at the spring game on April 18th. He will not be there. Some fans are freaking out about it. Some fans say much ado about nothing. I'm curious to get your take. On a scale of 1 to 10, how concerned are you that Kareem Walker will not end up signing with Ohio State, with 10 being the most concerned?
Can I go below 1? I mean, can I go 0.5 maybe? This is just absolutely ridiculous. The kid wants to get the SAT out of the way. He's already committed. One thing you can see with this kid, every interview, this is a mature kid. He's not out there running around getting his head turned. No sooner than he, everyone's all worked up about this, that he's going to take the test rather than come to the spring game. You have to look at a comment he made right around the same time that all these guys trying to get me to come to their schools. This is all just a business. He's not concerned with all this. He's a committed guy. Here's the thing that you have to look at. Most of the guys, the overwhelming majority of guys who commit early, they know where they want to go. This was not a surprise that Kareem Walker actually committed to Ohio State. He was always it was Ohio State versus Alabama, a couple other schools, but in the end, it wasn't a real surprise. So, no, I'm not the least bit concerned about this. It's not a problem. It's just people, they can't contain themselves. That's all it is. Everybody needs to relax. Kareem Walker is going to be a Buckeye. Stop worrying about it.
There you go, Buckeye Nation. Chill out. Kareem Walker will be a Buckeye, says Duane Long. I'm going to go with you on that, Duane. I'm going to hold you to your word. Liam Eichenberg is going to make his decision in the near future. He is the 4-star offensive lineman, of course, from Cleveland St. Ignatius, ranked as the number 11 offensive tackle recruit in the country, number 83 overall recruit in the country in the 2016 class, according to the 24/7 Sports Composite. Now, Duane, looking at the crystal ball, 60% have him going to Ohio State, 36% to Notre Dame, and then Michigan is the dark horse at 4%. What's your take here? What are you hearing? Do you think Eichenberg will be a Buckeye, or do you think he will play for the Fighting Irish?
I think it could break either way. I really, if with a gun to my head, I say Ohio State. But he's a Catholic-born kid. The Notre Dame offensive line coach appears to be a very charismatic guy. The statement about him being a starter next year concerns me. I just can't imagine our staff telling anybody that. And it would be a flat-out lie. How many offensive linemen start as freshmen? You're talking about some rare commodities right there. They're not physically ready to play at this level. especially a kid that's going to play tackle who's got to deal with pass rushers on a completely different level than what they ran into in high school. I know this kid's played at a high level in high school with St. Edwards. They'd play Ohio State, or excuse me, St. Ignatius. Pardon me, all the Eggy guys out there. That was a major mistake. St. Ignatius would play Ohio State. They don't care. He's played at a high level in high school, but what would he do with the Tyquan Lewis coming at him around the corner? He would probably say, there was a guy standing in front of me a second ago. I don't know where he went, but I know I can't block him. It takes some time to get geared up to play at this level against guys who've been in the weight room, who are physically mature men, coming off that edge with that first step quickness that completely changes games. Yeah, I can't believe our staff would tell him that. But I still think in the end I'm leaning toward the Buckeyes.
Yeah, and the quote was that they told him that he could start at guard as a freshman. The thing is, his freshman year, Ohio State's going to have Pat Elflein and Billy Price entering their third year as starters at guard. So I don't think a true freshman is going to beat out either one of them unless he's thinking maybe Elflein moves into center, then there'd be a chance for him to start as a freshman at guard. But he's saying Ohio State's coaches have told him that. So we'll see what happens. But the bottom line is we'll find out in the next couple of weeks most likely whether Eichenberg will be a Buckeye or not. Go ahead, Duane.
At guard, as you said, and there are some guys, Demetrius Knox. There's some guys here that are a year ahead of him. Demetrius Knox was a higher rated player. So, and I love Demetrius Knox's game. So it's still, I didn't know it was specifically a guard. I just read the headline. I did not read the entire thing. That he was at guard. I still don't see it. I hope that doesn't sway him because I just can't imagine our staff is going to tell him something like that. But
the actual quote, I want to throw the actual quote out there so people know. The actual quote from Eichenberg is, quote, Ohio State has been telling me that I would pretty much come in and start right away at guard as a freshman. I was told that Coach Meyer talks about me every day in meetings, and he is talking about how much I'm needed. So we'll see. Obviously, the coaching staff cannot confirm or deny this. They can't talk about recruits. But I'm with you. I tend to doubt the coaching staff would tell him that he's going to start as a freshman. But he didn't say definitely start. I would pretty much come in and start right away at guard as a freshman. So, who knows? Maybe
the word could. Maybe the word could should be in there.
Yes.
He just conveniently misremembered the word could. I just don't see it happening. The offensive line is so solid. It's not really a need this year. We're only going to take 3. Alex Gleitman has heard that. I've heard that. It's just, it only looks like 3 because we're so solid. And for the first time, I cannot believe I'm not complaining about offensive line recruiting. This staff has stepped up and done such a great job of bringing in quality offensive linemen and bringing them into the program, getting them physically ready, and getting them technically ready to play football. So that quote just, I don't know.
For more on recruiting, Bill Kurelich's calling this a sneaky big recruiting weekend for Ohio State. He has a primer on the site right now for subscribers. Probably the biggest name that's coming this weekend is wide receiver Austin Mack. Ohio State is the favorite to land the 4-star wide receiver, so we'll see what happens with that. But Bill Kurelich's calling this a sneaky big recruiting weekend, so make sure you check out his story on the site right now. Thanks very much to Duane Long. You always come strong, my friend. I appreciate it. Thanks to all the listeners out there. Hope you have a great day and a great weekend. Take it away, best damn band in the land.